Hey, what's up everyone and welcome to this PvZ guide. Today we're going to be making Tempest. So it's a very fun and interactive opener you can do at pretty much every level. I tried it yesterday against a Grandmaster player 6k, so you can do it at pretty much every level. I will show you the timings and so on, so let's begin. So 14 pylon, you can get some minerals with the same probe. If you're in lower leagues, just leave the probe over here, it doesn't really matter. You're just getting 5 extra minerals, so no big deal. You can take a bit of time to saturate the closest patches, the 4 ones a bit closer, so you get more income. As the pylon finishes, just go chrono boost, and you get your gate. The probe that has made the gate, as you can see, will go across the map and scout. And then you just go geyser at 17, and you keep making probes all the time. If you're familiar with this opening, just skip the early game part and you can go in a minute and a half from now, But for, gold players and so on, it could be an idea to just check how everything is going. So as the geyser finishes, you want 3 little probies right inside it, and then ready point the 20th probe to the natural. Then you can take a moment to see what's going on. Just make sure there's no early pull. Just make sure everything is okay. Right now I'm playing as an AI, so we're just pretending. We're 20 supply, just go Nexus. The probe that made the Nexus will also be making the core at 20 supply. There you go. And back to the minerals. And you resume the probe production. You can take a second just to see if everything's okay. And just leave your probe in patrol in front of their base. So 21 gas. And then you ready point your probe out so that you want to make a pylon like this. You will be making a stargate at the edge. We'll be making here. Towards the opponent's base. So we want to be able to rally point our Tempest faster, basically. So the closer to the opponent's base, the better. So once your pylon finishes, or just a bit before actually, you chrono boost your Nexus and chrono boost an Adept. So you go Stargate on the edge, just like I said. Probe back to the mills, and you should be having a full base of saturation. Then you go Warp Gate and non-stop probes. This probe can check whether there's a third at this moment. We're just pretending, once again, it's AI. And just go home. Second Adept. And always monitor whether you're making probes. You will chrono boost this Nexus as well. I'm losing my English a little bit here. And just make probes. This is really important. You can take a second to just hotkey your Stargate because nothing's going on. And just monitor whether you're actually making probes consistently. So you're making a probe here, here as well. My Stargate's about to complete, I'm going to make a Void Ray. I can already set in here on the edge because we're going to check all the edges to kill the overlords. Now it's pylon time. You can make it here, so you have more room later. So you have room here, I have room there, to be able to make gateways later. Chrono this Void Ray, and just make probes. Then around 3 minutes 20, I have a bit of surplus money. Just get a gate to complete the wall. And we will be making our gases. There you go. And just keep making probes, never stop. Now my Void Ray is over here. I will just look at my minimap. I click the minimap like this. All the edges where I could find an overlord. And don't even think about it. Now we'll make the fleet beacon. And now this is crucial. Make sure you put the probes right as the gas finish. Otherwise you will be lacking gas. Really crucial to put them right away. Then second Stargate. And now is the crucial point as well. You do not want to be supply blocked. So you can make a pylon here on this map. It doesn't really matter where you put them. I just optimize a little bit. So I have more vision and more room in my base. But the reason you do not want to forget those pylons is because we will need 10 supply for the Tempest. And 2 more supply, of course, because we keep on making probes. And if you're supply blocked, the build is basically ruined. So once you are done checking for the overlords, you can just send your Adept Shade in between minerals like this, as I'm starting a Tempest. And your Void Ray will just stay here, and we're gonna go Nexus. I just stopped at full saturation, right? And just Q Tempest and chrono boost them. Whenever I can afford a base, I do so, and I get a pylon. If you forget this pylon, you will be supply blocked for round 2 of Tempest. And at this time you can resume probes and just make Tempest. Never miss a beat when it comes to making Tempest. You can also chrono boost the Stargate you made the latest, because this Tempest is a bit lagging, so just chrono boost the one that's lagging so they both pop at the same time. Now one more pylon because our units just spawned, and you can make a little battery here out of safety for later run-bys. Just monitor whether you're making probes. You can check the top right hand corner just to see if you're supply blocked or about to be supply blocked. You know, I'm close to 78, but I have a pylon about to finish, so I'm all good. Keep making probes. I can make one more. There you go. I'm making probes. Perfect. Tempest are on the way. I have supply in the bank. Everything's perfect. I can chrono boost this one. Across the map. You can make this upgrade too. I can even research it earlier, but if you want to research it earlier, it's fine. You will delay a bit Tempest 5 and 6, but it's okay. Do as you wish. As you cross the map, you do not need to look. Your Tempest, you see on the mini-map, they're just moving by themselves. Get Twilight and Forge and keep making probes, you know? You want all these bases to be set. I don't even look at my Tempest. And now finally they arrive to the destination. The final destination, so should I say. And now you can use this moment to micro. Target the queens in priorities. Well, this is AI, so there's no queens, but pretend this is a flying queen. Just shoot at the queen. Then you go back and gate all the gates. Bam, bam. Spend all your money. Get charged and plus, and then finally you go back to your units. This is absolutely crucial that you start your gateways, because if you don't, you will be floating 2k or 3k in the bank, and then you will not be able to do the follow-up push. So it's really important. Two things to know. 5 Tempest, if I can find a queen, 5 Tempest will one-shot a queen. That's a key number, and 1 Tempest can one-shot a drone, right? So just keep these things in mind, and right now we'll show you what it looks like in a real game and what the follow-up is. Let's go. Alright, we're in an actual game. This is a 6k opponent. He wants to remain anonymous, so I'm not gonna say who that is. It's going to be a barcode, but I know who that is. 6k, 6-2 actually, so it's a pretty good Zerg player. I will speed up the beginning a little bit, because if you want to check the actual opener, you can check the beginning of the video, so I don't want to make this video too long. But once again, I'm doing the same. Gateway scout, I'm just taking around, of course. Just making sure everything is normal. You see just late pool, the hatchery is well on its way. I don't need to worry about anything. I can just leave my probe in patrol. By leaving my probe in patrol, I know whether my opponent is sending Zerglings or not. So if S is sending lots of Zerglings, I can just adapt and chrono boost perhaps a second adept or close my wall earlier. Now everything is fine. I see nothing out of the extraordinary, just 2 lings. See a drone is willing to expand. I can just go on with my day. So Stargate, obviously, you know the drill. And I just want to show you what the follow-up looks like, because this is really important. So since it's a real game, so I barely saw the overload over here. Now I know there's an overload park here, so I just want to get rid of it. The thing is that this build is very vulnerable to getting scouted, because otherwise you're going to get countered. So you want to delete the overloads from the map. Check the area closest to where you're going to build your Stargates. In my case, I make my Stargates over here. So I want to clear all this area towards my main. Make sure that all the overloads here are dead, because if an overload spots your second Stargate, your Zerg opponent will just rush Aspire, make Corruptors, Queens, and lots of drones, and your match history is going to be a bit more red, which is not exactly what we're looking for. So once again, my adept, should I say, there's only one, will clear the links. My Void Ray will just stay on top of the base. So if your opponent tries to make lots of links, your parked Void Ray will just shoot forever, and you can just re-wall behind it just if you need to, right? So we're making our Tempest. By the way, if you want a benchmark, if you're a diamond or below and you're able to leave your base at 6 minutes, it's pretty reasonable. It's not bad at all. The higher you climb, the cleaner your build you want to be, because if you're able to hit even 10 or 15 seconds earlier, this is perhaps 1 or 2 less queens, this is less preparation from your opponent, this is a Spire that's delayed as well, and every time your Tempest fire, you will be able to deal damage. So there you go, my opponent just knows about my Tempest just now. As you can see in the production tab, my opponent is reacting by making a Spire and extra queens. and spore crawlers. As I cross the map, I get a Twilight and a Forge. This is really important. I do not need to check my units up until I reach my opponent's base. So use the travel time as macro time. There is no excuse as when your Tempests are traveling the map that you do not make probes. Make probes, you can even make a battery, get Twilight and Forge, make sure you're not supply blocked. You have 20 seconds of travel time from your base to his base, whereas you do not need to look at all. You don't need to pay attention. Just a move on his side and macro in this moment. Travel time is macro time. Think about it this way. So the priority here is to target the queens. Remember, 5 Tempests will one-shot a queen. I only have 4, but I have a Void Ray. So the extra DPS of the Void Ray will get rid of the queen. So look, I'm just targeting the queen, minus 2 queens. Ignore the spores as much as you can, right? Just target the queens, get the value. Here we get another queen. I just one-shot another one. Try to get into this space, this rhythm. You know, once you get used to it, you know, you shoot, you go back. You shoot, you go back. Try to get used to this space that you have. Look at the production tab. In the meantime, I just get all the gates. Do not forget them. It is crucial that you get your gateways on time because the follow-up attack is going to be deadly. If you forget your gates or over micro your Tempest and get, you know, 3k in the bank, you will not be able to do the follow-up attack and thus lose the whole purpose of the strategy. So make sure to, if you cannot do both, just sacrifice controlling the Tempest a little bit, just pull away for a second, get all the production buildings, go all the way to 10. 10 gates is a good number. Then you go Robo for the Warp Prism and Templar Archive for Archons. And the leftover APM you have, use it to get value. If you can shoot queens, this is exactly what you're looking for. So I'm just going around the spore cars. I'm trying to avoid them. And look at the resources lost. I lost 0 and my opponent lost 2.5k. This is unbelievable. Literally free value. This is why this strategy is amazing. And this guy is like 6k. This guy is over 6k. So I'm trying to kill the upgrade if I can, but always prioritize the queen. See, I'm just shooting the queen again. And the moment corruptors are out, with your mouse, well, of course, not with your, you know, feet, right-click 10 times in order to go like click, 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 click to stack your Tempest on one single point, and then you recall. Really important to stack them, and by stacking them, you literally click really hard on one point to stack them, then you go away. The moment you see a corruptor, just get the fuck out of here. Otherwise, you're just gonna lose all the Tempest. So here I lose 1 Tempest, but at the end of the day, 800 minerals or resources against 3k, so it's very worthwhile. Plus, I forced corruptors, I forced spores, you know, so I'm in a very good position. But I'm only in a good position because I macroed behind it. I'm making zealots and archons behind it, and that's the follow-up attack that's going to make the difference. I'm using a warp prism on my robo. I'm chrono boosting my key upgrades, charge and +1 attack. You want to make as few stalkers as possible. You only make them if you need to. I warped in 4 stalkers in emergency. Why? Because he had corruptors about to spray on my building, so I don't want that to happen. Get a couple archons. Archons will really support the Tempest, and once you have maybe 2 cycles of gateway units, basically enough units to support your Tempest, then you can go on the map again. Whenever your warp in cycles are available, just use them. Every time you warp in something, just get a couple pylons behind it. Of course, do not get supply blocked, because being supply blocked is for losers, as you know. Whenever you're done with the warp in, try to get closer with your warp prism, because corruptors are out. So you don't want your prism to be in trouble, and then just go for it, you know, just put the pressure. And if you've done a good job at killing the build, there's a good chance you can just straight up kill your opponent, which is pretty much what's going to happen here. Just speed up a little bit. I'm trying to focus fire the corruptors with my archons as much as I can. Of course, it dies on top of my warp prism, so there's not much I can do. But at this point, you don't care as much about the Tempest. What matters is actually killing your opponent with a grand army, right? I mean, my opponent's pretty good, you know, he's doing his very best to kite my archons away. But basically, yeah, I'm targeting the Roach Warren here because I know the only good unit he can make at this point is Roaches against what I have. Now he's stuck making Zerglings, which is not ideal. If you lose your Warp Prism, as you can see the production time, I'm remaking one. Keep going with your upgrades, +2 and so on, but the key here is to not overextend, basically, to be able to judge properly whether you should commit to it or take your time. But at most level, I would argue that you should probably go for it, test the limit, and push hard and see what happens. And this is just going to be it for this replay. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, please consider joining my Discord for coaching or just for the community aspect. And I'll see you in my next guide. Have a good one. Bye-bye.